Good evening and welcome to this Thursday edition of Feedback. It's our first of two TV5 News anchor free-for-alls. I'll introduce the players coming up. Feedback starts now. As I said, good evening and welcome to this Thursday edition, our second to last show before the end of the season. And tonight we're doing what we try to do at the end of every academic semester at Clarion University, is bring in our news anchors for what we call our free-for-all. It's kind of modeled after what you see on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. So we're going to be doing this Thursday night as well as next Thursday night. So on tonight's free-for-all, we have, since we have 3 nights of news, we have 1 anchor from each night. So from Thursday night, we have Susan Honorad, from Tuesday night, Courtney Maines, and from Wednesday night, Jackie Nealon. So we're going to be talking to them. That is coming up. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the conversation about the news of the day, the news of the semester. It's all coming up on Feedback. Stay with us.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
Wardrobe for some TV5 news anchors, provided by Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all, with many different styles. Fashion Bug also offers a wide selection of accessories. Fashion Bug is located in the Clarion Mall, just off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 5.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954.
Do you want complete coverage of local, state, national, and international news as it happens?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TV5 News Live.
Tune in to Clarion's very own TV5 News Live for complete coverage of the Clarion area and our world. TV5 News crews join with crews from the world's news leader, CNN, to provide complete coverage of the day's events. With advanced satellite capabilities, TV5 News can bring you the latest news as it happens. So tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings for Clarion's very own TV5 News Live.
Welcome back to Feedback. It is free for all night, and as I said, let me reintroduce the panel. TV5 News anchors, one from each night of the week. Susan Honorad from Thursday nights, Courtney Maines from Tuesday, and Jackie Nealon from Wednesday. Thank you for being here, ladies. Let's start with, this has been a momentous last couple of months with everything that happened on September 11th, and we obviously here covered it. We were covering it from 11 o'clock that day. How do you think overall the media has done, though, in the grand scope of things? Not just, local media, but national media, and how they have played the story?
I thought they did really well. Like whenever information's coming in so fast like that, they tried to get the most accurate information they could in the quickest time. And I mean, whenever the plane crashed in Somerset, at first it was, 420 were killed until the actual number. But everyone came on and apologized. But when you're working so short, I think they did a good job getting it so accurate, not in such a short time.
Right.
Yeah, they were all on time, and that everything was done perfectly. And even if they weren't dressed appropriately or anything, all the news anchors, they were all there and doing everything that they could to get the stories out to everyone that needed to hear them.
The first hour I anchored in shorts and a t-shirt. Here.
You see those people standing outside with the rubble coming at them.
What does that make you think? Were you going to say something, Courtney? Or?
I think they did a great job of, like she said, keeping people updated, because there's a lot of scared people out there that have no clue what's going on, and I think the media's done a really good job of being responsible, keeping them updated.
That's a good point. Where's the line? Where is the line there when in that situation in September 11th, there wasn't good news. There was no saving grace that day, it seemed. In the days after, we're starting to, the months after, we hear these stories of hope and things that happen, but how as people who are, aspiring to be in the media, how difficult do you think it is to balance something like that when you're giving such bad news, but it's what's going on?
I think it's their responsibility. It's the press's responsibility, good or bad, you have to get it out.
Right. And you mentioned standing there and the rubble coming down. What, can you imagine? I mean, we may end up doing this.
Journalists love their jobs. I mean, they would do anything for the story. And
that's the attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was even anchors that were crying as they were telling everybody what was going on.
And that's a good point. That's another thing. September 11th brought so many questions about where the line is. Where is the line on that? Dan Rather cried on David Letterman. Where's the line? Should he be crying, and now is he part of the story, or is it just this happened and what can we do?
Well, I think when he came on David Letterman, David Letterman's America's, that's our comedy, that's our time to relax.
Right.
We're not in the hustle bustle world whenever we watch that. And for him to go on and, he couldn't go right back into things. It's just the country was mourning, you know what I mean? So for him to come on and try to do a funny show, people weren't going to find it funny. I think with him going on and being so emotional, it made everybody realize, you have to ease into this. You can't jump right back into, everyday life. We'll never be the same.
Right. Should he be the story, though? I mean, watching Larry King, they have Barbara Walters on all the time. They bring in Bob Woodward from the Washington Post. They're bringing journalists in all the time, and these journalists aren't coming in to report the story. They're coming in to say, well, this is, this is what we did in our news operation, and this is what I think. Should a journalist be doing that? Is that crossing the line in giving their thoughts?
I think the journalists, the ones that sneak over in Afghanistan undercover, they're not doing it for fame. They're famous already, you know what I mean? They're doing it because they love it. And, I mean, it's a high for them to go over and, get it first. And I don't think they're doing it for anything but, the sake of news.
Love the job.
Yeah.
Anything else about the media? We'll move on.
No.
Okay. Travel. You guys scared to travel at all post-September 11th? Courtney, you just said you were in New York. Did you fly or?
No, I drove. I drove New York.
But are you afraid to travel?
I'm a little eerie on it as far as flying. I mean, I know pretty much everything is presumed over and done with, but you can't help but be a little bit worried. When I was in New York, I was a little bit, I was being extra careful, looking at people. I don't know, just being extra careful about things.
Would you fly?
I just rode on my first airplane in August, and I was really scared even then going up in the plane really high, because you're 40,000 feet in the air. But now I don't know if I'll ever even ride a plane again. There was just a plane crash this past weekend in Pittsburgh, right where I live. So.
Right.
I'm a big flyer, fly at least 2 times a year, but my parents just came back from a cruise. You know, I was asking them, is anything different? Mom said there was not very much. I mean, maybe a little bit more checking bags, but pretty much everything's the same.
You willing to wait at the airport now?
Well, she said they had to be there 2 hours early, and they were in and out. Like, they were checked in 15 minutes, so.
But are you willing to do that? Is that okay if you're going to sit there for an hour and a half?
I'm all about it. I think that, you know, they made that new, passed that law and legislation where the jobs are going to be federal jobs, which is good because, you know, if those people are getting paid minimum wage to stand there and check our bags, why should they care? They don't have any benefits. Their job's just a job. You know, that job should mean something to them. And
how about a couple Mondays ago when we hear that another plane goes down in New York? You know, what was your first reaction when you heard that? And my first reaction was, I was on a bus riding back from Scranton to Pittsburgh, and I heard about it through the CB on the bus driver's radio, and immediately I'm on the cell phone, is this you know, finding out from people who are near television or whatever, is this terrorism? Because that's the first thing that goes through my mind. Are we, you know, was that your first thought? And are we on edge more now? And is it a good thing that we're on edge?
I think we're definitely on edge a lot more. And it's a good thing because we're being more cautious, but we're letting every little thing, you know, get to us, and we're panicking about not little things, but we're panicking about everything now and trying to associate it with terrorism in some way.
Speaking of panicking, is the White House panicking in that we can't go on the Christmas tour of the White House? You know, they always make the big deal. You can come in and see the Christmas lights, and George W. Bush has come out and saying, you've got to go on living your lives. Live your lives as normal. But we're not going to let you come in and look at our Christmas decorations. Is this overreacting?
I don't think so. I think that we were a little bit too laid back in that we didn't think anything could happen to us as a country. You know what I mean? And so we were they caught us off guard pretty much. And we should. I think when he means go on, live your lives, is keep spending money, keep flying, keep our economy going. Don't put us in a recession. Don't be afraid. You know, but.
Right.
I think that we can't be too cautious.
Right. Touring the White House, what do you guys think?
I don't think it should be. I don't think they should have it this year. I mean, like she said, you have to go on living your life and you have to go on doing your daily activities, but you have to draw a limit somewhere.
Right.
You can't be too open.
You mad you can't go and see the Christmas lights, Susan?
Of course, you know, I always want to see them every year.
I mean, do you think it's acceptable? I mean, these guys say it's okay. I mean, we live in different times now. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Well, since 9/11, the world has certainly changed, and I think that especially for our generation, it's really going to change things. We're going to go ahead and take a break right now. When we come back, though, I want to talk about another subject that was in the news this past weekend: cloning. Could there be another me?
Oh, God.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Feedback continues after the break.
I am an American. I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I
I
am
am American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
September 11, 2001 tragedy was not only the tragedy of one nation, it was a tragedy for the entire human race. And if the perpetrators were Arabs or Muslims, we should not blame this on Islam or the entire Islamic faith. We should try to avoid these epithets because they have got serious consequences for innocent people. it is very necessary for us to detach the individual acts from their faith and from their ethnicity.
You'd never know it on the battlefield, but nearly half of today's military are National Guard and reservists. However, they can't answer our nation's call without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit esgr.org and find out how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours.
You're watching TV5 with Zeta Tau Alpha.
Welcome back to Feedback this Thursday evening. It is TV5 News anchor Free for All Night. We have Susan Honorad, Courtney Maines, and Jackie Nealon here. We've been talking September 11th, but we want to go on. I'm going to talk about something that happened this weekend. So these guys play anchors always. So I'm going to play anchor here for a minute, an intro story from CNN. This weekend in Massachusetts, a research company announced the cloning of a human embryo. Now already the British House of Commons, the British House of Lords debated rush legislation to ban cloning of embryos for implementation into the womb, while allowing therapeutic cloning for research purposes to continue. Margaret Lowry has more on the story. Or we might not have that. There it is.
Britain's new legislation came after its High Court ruled earlier this month that contrary to what the government believed, existing British law does not prohibit cloning embryos for reproductive purposes. British genetic experts say the U.S. announcement raises significant ethical questions.
Over 170 nations of the world have no legislation whatsoever preventing the birth of human clones. Today's announcement draws that step ever closer. We need global agreement, and we need it urgently, or we will see clones born in many countries of the world.
The news from the U.S. makes European legislators uneasy, according to the coordinator of the European Parliament's Temporary Committee on Human Genetics.
It will not be accepted in Europe. I think in the whole of Europe it will not be accepted that persons or embryos are created by cloning for other purposes than for research for health care of the people, not for life or such.
At least in theory, Europe has banned human cloning for reproductive purposes under the EU Charter on Fundamental Rights. But translating this into national laws may be difficult. As Britain rushes to close its loophole, Europe remains a legal crazy quilt, with each of the EU's 15 states taking their own approach. France and Italy are still debating cloning for therapeutic research. Italy is home to flamboyant fertility doctor Severino Antinori, who claims he will soon be able to clone embryos for implantation in the womb, but says he would have to leave Italy in order to do so. Belgium does not regulate therapeutic cloning. Local ethics committees control individual projects. Germany and Spain explicitly ban human cloning for any reason.
The only thing we can do on European level is that we define which research we will finance on European level, and we did make a decision in the last 2 weeks where we did say it can be financed in cases where it is the ethical committees will allow that, and only where it is not prohibited. And that is what
she wants the EU to adopt a common approach to cloning for therapeutic ends, but given the different traditions and cultures of the European nations, she believes this is likely to be a long way off. Margaret Lowry, CNN, London.
So could it happen? You know, obviously it looks like it could happen. I mean, this company came out this weekend and said, we can make the embryo. Do we want this to happen? I mean, from what I understand, they can obviously not poof, there's another Jackie who is Jackie at this age, but poof, there's another baby Jackie who's going to grow up and look exactly like you and have I guess, the same characteristics. What do we think? Is this somewhere where you want to go?
Look, my mom always wished me like 10 Jackies. I hope not. No, I honestly think that, you know, the day that cloning becomes, you know, a way of life, the world is possibly coming to an end. No way should it be like that. That's, you know, I understand that people come with diseases. Let's work on ways to cure the diseases, you know. But I'm a believer that, you know, Adam and Eve, and whenever God says it's your time, I just think that it's your time, you know, I don't.
Right. Well, that's one of the issues. They're saying, though, that I'm dying because of, well, let's say I'm not dying. Let's say I'm in an accident and I lose a leg. What if there's other, not necessarily maybe we haven't grown this person to the fullest potential that I will have a leg, but maybe there's some way that I can get my leg back.
But everything happens for a purpose. Like, I mean, maybe sometimes it's not, you know, you don't think that's what, you know, something happens for a purpose all the time. Or at least that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel.
What do you guys think?
I think they're trying to say it's going to be for medical reasons, for like people who need organs, kidneys, but you have to draw this line somewhere, and right now they say that's what it's going to be for, but who's to say like down the road it's not going to get like misused, and just because there are some people that just should not be cloned. There's some people that we don't need two of.
Yes, like more.
Hey now. Susan?
I'm just completely against cloning, and I mean, because you only have one life, and you shouldn't have to like remake yourself, or, you know, like just get cloned and be another person.
But what
it's the same person.
They're selling it as this is health. This is health beneficial to, could be beneficial to your health. There's not necessarily, I don't think that they're proposing at this point that there's going to be another me walking, you know, that I could be here and I could be over there. I mean, I don't think that that's what they're proposing. But, you know, I'm dying from something. We're coming up with things right now to save people's lives. Isn't this just another way? Now, I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just playing devil's advocate for fun.
Well, you know, the people smoke cigarettes, they get lung cancer. We try to look for the quick fix for everything. If I'm overweight, I want to take a pill and just become not overweight. Like, take vitamins, take care of yourself. But to clone and that's not natural. That's not how it's meant to be. I don't know. I just
President Bush
really
says,
against it.
Through a spokesman over the weekend, he said, I am 100% against this, against cloning. Well, I mean, look, here's what they're doing in Europe. They're saying we're not going to, we're either not going to fund any research like this, or we're just going to say you can't do it. Do we need to do that in America?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to that. I want to, you know, I don't want to harp on 9/11, but I do want to go back to something. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Courtney is in the reserves.
Yes.
And what is your perspective on how things have changed in that? You know, what has your role been thus far, and how are you on a heightened state of always saying what's going on over there? Could I go there? You know, what are you taking away from this?
Obviously it's scary. Like I'm always, like, I'm watching the news all the time, seeing if they send in more ground troops, and especially I saw they're sending in like hundreds of Marines over to foreign countries. So it's really scary, because if I get called over, I would get pulled out of school, and, you know, just the whole situation is scary. I have friends who have been pulled out of school and sent either to bases in the United States or bases overseas, and they have no clue, like, when they're coming home. They could be there for like months, up to 2 years, and when they come back, they're just going to have to restart their life all over again. So it's really scary. Like, the whole idea of war and how it can affect my life is definitely. And at first, when it first came out, like, every time the phone rang, I was a little nervous, because we were on like heightened security, of course. But now I think it's starting to not die down a little bit, but I'm a little bit calmer now than I was at first. So.
Well, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, around the country who are, you know, the same boat as you. And I mean, I think all of America's on some form of alert, and it's all, another way we seem to be on alert is maybe we're holding our pocketbooks a little tighter than we did at one time. shopping. Are you guys, do you feel you're going to be doing more holiday shopping this year?
Nothing holds me back from him.
No, I don't know. I was shopping. I did the whole Black Friday thing, and there were still a lot of people out. And like President Bush said, you need to get out there. You need to shop. You need to help the economy out.
Just don't come to the White House to see the Christmas.
Exactly.
So you're not scared at all? I mean, you're not worried about keeping the money tight?
Well, it depends on if I have enough money to begin
Oh,
with.
well, okay, that's a good point. But they are saying that that I guess shopping was down on Black Friday a good bit, or not a good bit, but a bit, but online sales look to be going up this year. So actually, they just told me Black Friday was up. I thought it was. I think spending may have been down actually. We're actually about out of time, but thank you guys for joining us. We're going to let Susan head off during the break here because the news is coming up just a few minutes. She's going to join Pat Grace over at the anchor desk. But ladies, thank you for coming down. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
It was a good time. Stay with us. We'll be back to say goodbye in just a minute.
We're stronger than you. You can't hold us back. Violence. We know what it takes to blow past you.
And violence, we're just getting going.
On September 11th, America faced terrorist attacks of the worst kind. Innocent lives were lost, and a sad cloud was cast over this great nation. These acts were intended to cause fear among all Americans, including our children. But we cannot let that happen. There are things we can do to help our kids. Talk with them, listen to them, tell them they're safe and that they're loved. God bless you, and God bless America.
Cellular One has plans that fit the way you talk. For all the who's, whens, whys, and wheres, there's a plan for you to make someone's holiday happy, happier, or the happiest of all with one of these great phones. Plus, get a free line of phone service, unlimited nights and weekends, free long distance, and free voice-activated dialing. However you talk, Cellular One. Plans that fit the way you talk.
Whether you're looking for seasonal flowers, wedding flowers, or plants, Wilshire's Flowers and Gifts has them all, plus a vast array of gifts ranging from dolls, balloons, fruit baskets, and plush toys. Stop by Wilshire's Flowers and Gifts located on Merck Street in Clarion. Wilshire's offers same-day delivery. Phone number 226-7070 or 1-800-833-3571. The phone answers 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Feedback. That's it for us tonight. I want to say, coming up next Thursday night, we are doing another TV5 News anchor free-for-all. Joining us that night will be Pat Grace, Carrie LaPoo, and Kelly Esno, are these guys co-anchors who were just up here. Also, another programming note, next Tuesday is Borough Council. So because of that, Sports Night will actually be on in our normal time slot on Wednesday at 7:30, and then we will be back here with you for Feedback next week at 7:30. Next Thursday at 7:30. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week.